If you're headed back to work after workers' compensation, but with restrictions, you need to pay attention to the forms. Catherine Stone from Injury Florida Law is here to explain why they are so important. Welcome, Catherine. How you been?
Good. How are you?
I am well. You know what? So we're here talking about workers' comp, but I like that we're kind of talking about the post when you're getting back to work.
Right. Yes. So, and we've talked before about the importance of forms in a bunch of different areas, but more so when you've been released to return back to work, specifically if you have restrictions and your employer is able to bring you back to work, or maybe you've gone to a new job, whatever it may be, also, if you're receiving unemployment compensation benefits for some reason, there's forms called employee earnings reports. They are forms that the carrier will send you after they have seen that your doctor has released you to return to work. And oftentimes clients get these forms or claimants get these forms and they don't do anything with them, and then they don't know why they're not getting paid. So the forms have to be filled out and returned within 14 days of receipt, because that's what workers' comp utilizes to determine how much you should be paid for temporary partial disability benefits.
So it sounds like, and I'm assuming just knowing you, when you bring these up, it's things that you see in your practice. So it's safe to say people are like, oh, I'm back to work, I don't need to worry about doing anything anymore.
Especially if they have a part-time, another job, if they're receiving unemployment benefits, whatever it may be. And then what happens is sometimes I don't always get copied on those forms, even though I should be. And or it's a new client that has walked in the door and they're saying, well, I haven't gotten paid, and why am I not getting paid? And the first thing I ask is, well, are you back to work? Yes. Or if you're not back to work, they still want those forms to verify whether or not you're receiving income from any source. So the first thing I say is, give me your packet, let's find these forms. Even if they can't find the forms, because a lot of times they get bogged down in the paperwork or they misplace the paperwork, I have the ability to print that blank form off and we can fill them out together.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I know even from when you want to make a workers' compensation claim, there are quite a lot of forms.
There's going to be an initial package that we call. The carrier should always send you an initial packet that's going to have standard pamphlets in there that the state of Florida recommends that they send out. They're going to have standard letters. There's going to be a ton of forms that they want you to sign, fill out, and return. One of those forms is a medical authorization form, and it's a blanket form. It doesn't identify what doctors they're sending this form to. I typically will tell the carriers, my client's not going to sign a blanket medical release form. If we'll sign one directed to a specific facility. But a lot of times I'll get a client after they've already filled that out, and then I'll write the carrier and say, you know, please, we're revoking that medical authorization form. I want to know where you're sending this form off to get my client's records.
Well, and I think it's just so interesting how you brought up you have the ability to print out these forms in case they get thrown away. And I think we can't say that enough on why it's important to have someone like yourself on people's teams for this.
And especially when I'm monitoring a file and making sure that the client's getting their checks timely, or why are they not getting their checks, the first thing I go to see is, do we have completed employee earnings report forms? If we don't, that's the first thing we do, is we print the forms, however many months or whatever, for whatever weeks we need, we print the forms, we get the documentation filled out, and we submit it to the carrier.
And you know what, Catherine, I know we've talked about this several times, but of course we do focus a lot on workers' compensation, but that is only one aspect. And if you're not the person to help, you have others who can help.
Correct.
Explain how people should just pick up the phone and call you with their questions.
Pick up the phone, call. You know, we're very accessible. I have multiple different office suites around town that to make it easier and closer for my potential clients or even current clients to be able to sit down and talk about their case. We also have the ability, you can text us, and we want to, either myself or someone from my office will get back to you very shortly. We want 100% contact with us.
I love that. Well, if you are interested in getting in contact with Catherine, seeing how she can help you and have her on your site, there's the information on your screen. InjuryFloridaLawFirm.com is the website, along with, of course, the phone number. And Catherine, we always enjoy when you're here. You always tackle these tough subjects, but do it so that people are more informed.